I'm
my God.
Look at us.
That
Look at us.
Like I'm
did a great job.
fucking floored
We
that
are
we did a count off like that. And it worked.
Professionals.
When we first started 4 years ago, we used to make people clap.
Oh God.
Did you guys ever do that? The clapping?
Overdue does that, or no? Somebody we did a crossover with does a clap.
It's so hard to do over Zoom.
Yes.
That's the problem. It's Zoom. Like,
and then I started to feel like a real dummy. And then we were in person and we did it. And I was like, oh, this is a computer problem. This is not I can't Zoom. Clap with someone else's problem. Truly. No. I mean, I know I'm a white lady and my clapping skills are actually pretty subpar, but
sure.
I was like, I can certainly do this one fucking thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know. So that's why I like the count a lot better, just because if somebody's
we
off,
do the
it's
count
really easy
too.
to tell. Yeah.
Plus, as we're doing all these episodes with Trailblazers, it's a lot easier with people who are like, I've never owned a pair of headphones. But you do know how to count, so it'll be fine.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
we're Fated Bosoms. We're heaving mates.
We're doing it finally. Years in the making. We're doing this.
In the making.
Wait, have we never done this before?
No.
Well, I've been on Heaving Bosoms.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys have both been on Fated Mates.
I don't
know.
Ma'am.
Wait, really?
No.
You didn't come on at the first season to talk about some vampire book?
The thing is, like, we kept saying,
why did we not do that?
Like, we kept being like, we should do it. And then we just kind of like never got it together.
Yeah. Well, there was ladies, I would like to remind you, a global pandemic.
Oh, when was that?
Well, I mean,
I don't remember that at all.
Okay, fair. That was an excuse, obviously.
Yeah.
All right. So we're here together.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's gonna be awesome. Here it is.
Are we introducing ourselves? Heaving mates, Fated Bosoms.
I think Fated Bosoms. It's got to
Fated Bosoms.
It's got to be Fated Bosoms. Yeah,
for sure. Okay, Heaving mates sounds like we are going to like a wrestling show.
It kind of sounds great. I gotta say,
sounds kind of nice, but it's definitely a particular flavor.
We'll do a poll. We'll do a Twitter poll and have people decide what this new podcast should be called.
Yeah.
So I think. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
We picked this book. So I had texted Jen a few weeks ago and said, I have to recommend a book to somebody who's never read romance before. What would you give them to read?
Wait, you picked this?
Yeah. And Jen picked this. And we kind of went back and forth a little bit. And then when it came time to pick a book for this, this was one of the ones that we had recommended through our 5-star review bribe, that if you give us a 5-star review and tell us to read a book, we will. And so it kind of fit that you clearly like this book, and it was one of the ones on our list. So
yeah,
here we are.
Burn for Me by Ilona Andrews is the book, everybody. Mad Rogan. We're finally talking about it.
Listen, Mad Rogan is one of those characters that I have pretended to know about for like right? Like people are like, oh, Mad Rogan. I'm like, totally Mad Rogan.
Me too. Yeah.
And now I finally understand it, and I acknowledge that you were right, Jen. Because I love a sociopath.
I you do.
And he is like a real actual
one of those.
What a darling.
What? Yeah. What a revelation is Mad Rogan. Because I was confused so much.
Can we just, before we do this, can we introduce ourselves for, the
purpose
of everything? So
you go first.
Whoever. Oh, I'll go first.
Yes.
So
since you're a Mad Rogan virgin, and
yeah. So is this woman right now.
Still to this very day.
Anyway, not by tomorrow in my world. But
same. I've already downloaded the next 4 books. It's fine.
I am Sarah McLean. I am one half of Fated Mates, a romance novel podcast that you can have in your ear holes every Wednesday. I read romance novels and I write them.
I'm Jennifer Prokop, the other Fated Mates half. I have read this book and its sequels probably 20 times each. I'm not going to lie to you.
That's a flex, Jen.
I enjoy them on audio.
You're such a bragger.
Oh,
yeah. You know what? It's like a real comfort read to me, and I'm not quite sure why. And I feel like that would be interesting for us to discuss.
Oh, yeah. I would love to. Yeah. Wonderful. I'm Melody Carlisle. I'm one half of Heaving Bosoms and one half of Bonkers Romance, 2 podcasts that talk about romance novels 24/7. And that's we're doing good things.
The way we want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Erin. I used to be one half of Heaving Bosoms, and now I'm just a lady in the world.
Now you're just a reader. Reader, Erin.
You get to just do whatever you want.
Yeah, I listened to this book on 2 times speed, and they're cool with me being here, so that's great.
Heck yeah. Okay, but Jen, comfort read.
Sorry. Okay.
I feel like one of the reasons, like the thing that pinged in my brain was just that the universe is so specific.
Yeah.
Like it could be a comfort read for me because I can just switch off the real world and just dive into this. And it's so complete and it's so vibrant that, you can just live there and it feels like you're there.
Right. So, you know what? Let's talk about the plot. Not too extensively. This is very plotty, right? It's like if you like the adventure
so
romance,
much actions.
Yes.
It's an adventure romance, right?
It's an adventure romance. It's it's urban fantasy. So one of the things you should all know, and the reason Sarah's a little salty is because
I might have texted, when are these 2 gonna bang it out?
The answer is never. Doesn't happen.
Yeah,
does not
happen
bang.
in this book. Yeah.
I was finishing this while I was mowing my lawn this morning, and I can neither confirm nor deny that I made like sweaty selfie videos to be like, they haven't banged, and I sent them to a bunch of people. So
I feel robbed. I feel like something was stolen from me.
You're right.
I feel like
you're right.
Okay,
I have to read the second book now.
You have to read the second book
You
now.
have to read this. I mean, this is it, the ultimate cliffhanger, which is why I'm a little bit surprised that Jen is
for sure. Because here's the thing that's really interesting. So the main characters are Nevada Baylor and Mad Rogan, as previously discussed, our favorite sociopath. It takes place in Houston, Texas, in a world where magic runs through families. So Nevada is her kind of magic is she's a truth seeker. Mad Rogan is a telekinetic, but like his mother is a telekinetic. They're a telekinetic house, right? So there's all these different kinds of magic, and it can be bred like dogs.
Yeah,
right. And that's a big part of it, right? So like your magic is a good match for someone else's magic, and you know, so it's very like feudal in that way almost, right? So absolutely. I think the other thing I really like about it is I think it pushes a lot of the same buttons as like a historical romance for me.
Which really did not surprise me at all. This is one of the few things that didn't surprise me about this book, because Ilona often writes, she has a very rich, Ilona and Gordon, they are a married couple who write these novels together under her name. And they have this like really, really vibrant blog and website where their fans come and interact with them. And her blog is very active. And she talks about historicals a lot on that blog.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So,
and you can see it.
You can see like the footprints of that. So it's like a modern book, but it has like that historical feel in a lot of ways. Like it's, you know, the world is really driven by like manners almost, right? Like there's a certain kind of way that you're supposed to act. And if you don't act that way, right, like then you're like this like wild card unless you're super powerful, right? So Mad Rogan is like, people kind of steer clear of him because he's really rich and he's the most powerful
he's a king
in North America, essentially.
He's a king. There's a very clear aristocracy, and there's a very clear like I felt the difference between like a match for families and a love match, like those sorts of things ran through it too.
Right. And what's her name? The heroine's family is like very clearly the Bennetts.
Nevada.
You know, like Nevada. Thank you.
It means snow.
Melted spring snow.
I'll melt your
snow.
I
didn't know that, and I was like, "Ooh."
I actually didn't know either.
And I was like, "It's a winter name." I was like, "Nevada's a very summer state,
very warm state." Yeah.
Tell that to the Donner Party, everybody.
I mean,
does that happen in Nevada? I don't even know. I don't even know.
It was like Nevada Tahoe. Or Utah. Yeah.
It's actually
on the Nevada,
there's like a
California
mountain chain
that runs right through
There's
there.
a big old mountain.
It's
that
called
Sierra
the
Nevada.
It does. The Sierra Nevadas.
I wasn't even thinking about that one.
Oh my fucking God.
I'm
Joe,
sorry.
the
I
Sierra
didn't mean to
Nevada.
call it a summer state. I'm backing down. I'm so sorry.
It's a summer
Never
state,
mind.
but up near Lake Tahoe, which is one
It's
side
cold.
is Nevada and one side is California. That's where the
yeah.
Donner Party got trapped in 35 feet of fucking snow and they ate each other.
They did have to eat each other. Yeah.
It's cannibalism.
This is the first time so far today that Fated Mates has corrected me on something. It will not be the last.
No, please no. Only one half of us knew any of that.
Yeah. Well, Mr.
I
Reed's
did
romance.
know about cannibalism in the Donner Party though, because of course I did. Because sociopaths.
Sure.
Like, call me Donner.
Are you gonna write a Donner Party romance? Is that what I'm hearing? Are you
Oh my
announcing
God.
on this show
Bonker-
today?
Bonkers Romance is gonna have me on.
Please. You
That
let a bitch
would
know.
Be a bonkers romance.
It
would
would
be.
quite.
It would.
Yeah.
It would
I
definitely go
mean-
there.
I
So-
think this podcast is now over while I
Yeah.
run an aura, but okay. All right.
So Nevada she's a truth seeker and her family has not like bred magic into them. They're very like love matchy. And so her mom is like, she can shoot stuff real good. And her grandma can like, she can talk to any machine you put in
Her
front of
grandma's
her.
the best.
Her
Oh,
grandma
God.
is the best.
Her
yeah.
grandma is Grandma
Put
Major.
her on the list. Yeah,
Yes.
there's like a list of grandmas in romance, and she's got to be like
Absolutely.
right up there.
100%.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And so she has a private investigation agency and they've been having a hard time financially for a while for reasons.
Yeah.
But Nevada also has like this kind of secret magic.
Yes.
Like nobody knows, but she has the best magic that anybody has in all like this is the only kind of magic I actually really care about, which is she can tell when
someone
you're
is-
lying.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it
Wouldn't
be
it
so
be great?
nice?
The best.
Actually, you know what's really interesting is so this like Wonder Woman and her lasso of truth, Sookie Stackhouse, right?
Right.
Mhm.
One of the
Right.
things that's really interesting to me is I'm fascinated by how this talent is almost always manifested in women
Mhm.
because it's like,
Because we're so used to being lied
yes,
to.
like us bitches, we just want to fucking know if you're telling us the truth,
We
right?
don't
Honestly.
trust your ass at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah,
So just cut to the chase.
right, right. Whereas his power, right, being like super powerful, is like patriarchy embodied, right?
Yeah,
like I
he's
can
a king.
literally destroy a fucking city when I put my mind to it.
That's pretty hot. That video at the beginning when they
Hot.
watch like young Mad Rogan just
Destroy.
level a building.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
The description of the look in his eyes, that's like, this is what I am, like the self-awareness and kind of like
Yes.
self-loathing of the idea that he like destroyed Mexico ? Like
Yeah.
I'm not really like
That's
certain of
about
what
it.
was happening. Yeah, like there's something involving like Belize and it's like a whole global conflict that I didn't super understand, but it was
Right.
destructive what he
Yeah.
was doing.
And Nevada and I were both like hot.
I mean, because
I was.
here's
just,
the
yeah.
thing. Not only was this video him just like basically cutting buildings in half sideways so that they just like crumble around, but he's doing it standing in the midst of them. So you know that he can not only make everything like completely destroy everything around him, but he has this like this cone of magic around him that makes it bounce off and
Mhm.
he's perfectly fine. And like that kind of like destructive but control
Mhm.
is
not-
very
Like
compelling.
what else can you do inside that little cone of
I mean,
like the gun is on the it's like Chekhov's gun on the table right there.
Uh-huh.
And it better be great in book 2 is all I'm saying.
I mean, it was
It's
great
book
in
2 is
this
my
book,
favorite.
oh my god.
and there
Well,
was no.
We should get
You're
we'll
getting
get
ahead
to
of
it.
yourself,
Oh, we're getting
everybody.
ahead of I want to talk about that whole moment with the
I can't-
touching
I
and the
can't
not
wait.
touching.
I cannot
Okay.
wait. Yeah.
So the plot starts essentially with Mad Rogan's nephew
Mm.
gets into some trouble, right? Essentially with like a very powerful but like super shitty magic user named Adam.
Matt
right?
Rogan and Matt Rogan's nephew does an arson with the help of a competing Prime magic doer, a big
Prime
one of
is
those
the
big
top.
sauce
Yeah.
guys.
Friday is Prime.
Yeah.
Prime
So he
magic.
did do an arson that did murder one person and like hurt the rest of his family. So understandably, the police are like, we're going to get ya. Like, we
Yeah.
got to get him. And his cousin comes over and she's like crying and she's like, please just
Well, that's
save
his
my
mom.
son.
Yeah, it's his
Right?
mom.
The
Well, the woman is Mad Rogan's cousin, but
Oh
it's
no,
the
yeah,
mom
yeah.
of
But
the
the
kid.
mom comes over to like plead with Mad Rogan, whose name
Yeah.
is Connor, which I didn't like.
But is it though? Because
Well,
they
but-
never call him that.
I mean,
Only
I
like
think
what's his
to be
face
clear,
Hank
Ilona
says
didn't
later.
like it either.
Yeah.
Has anyone else
Stick
read
with
the rest of the
Rogan.
series? Am I the only one who's read all of them?
Oh, does it come back,
You
Jen?
are.
Is it important?
No, just Nevada starts to call him Connor when he's
Oh, I
not
hate it.
acting like a
Oh,
social-
sure. Well, that's a classic
Right?
romance
Okay.
novel
Of
moment.
course.
I
Yeah,
know.
like,
I was
I-
worried about that.
I don't
mean, I
love the
guess
name
it would-
Connor, but I do love it when a Duke lets you call him by his first name.
His first
See?
name.
So there it is.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Right.
The balance.
Right.
You're going to figure out what you like, but which is more important.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Uh-huh.
romance is good for. It's good for you for that hierarchy of
The hierarchy of names. and
Hierarchy of stuff you
names.
can disregard for hot sociopaths. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, basically everything is my answer.
So
Okay,
Mad Rogan wants to find his nephew.
we're still in chapter 1. but
Right. I'm trying to move us along.
You're
And
doing great.
simultaneously,
Teachering.
right?
Yep.
Nevada's their investigative agency is essentially like a subsidiary of a really big investigative agency called MII. And her boss comes along and is like, I need you to find Adam Pierce. And
Who is
So-
unfindable, uncatchable,
Right.
he can burn
And can
steel
burn.
down.
Yeah.
right.
He can burn.
Scary.
Big,
Not safe. This is
big
not safe.
fireball man is what he
Yeah.
wants her to just like put her arms around.
And she can tell that her boss is like, you'll be fine. And she could tell her boss is like, you will not be fine.
You will
No.
not be fine, but that's not my problem, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
I need to look like I'm taking care of this, so I'm going to outsource it to you.
And she can't
So-
turn it down or else her family loses everything. Very classic.
Oh,
High stakes,
Great stuff.
right?
Great.
Well,
great
and
stuff.
that's the thing. Like, if you like high stakes, like these books are so great for that. So I'm going to skip forward to essentially how they come into contact.
Yes,
So Nevada
please.
is Erin has her hand up.
I just want to I just feel
Yeah.
like I have to say something here, and I'm sorry, Jen.
No,
This
tell
is going to
me.
be a little
love it.
confrontational.
Tell me everything.
But I do remember like tweets and like opinions from like Jen Reads Romance
Okay.
that said
Who's
things
that?
to the effect of like, oh, that's Jen. She's here on the podcast with
Oh,
us. That
hi,
said
everybody.
things to the effect of like, if a hero and a heroine or the two main characters have not met in the 30% mark of a book, like fuck that book, and I'm gonna set it on fire. And I did look down at 30% into this
interesting.
book, and these bitches had not met yet. And I
No.
thought
Yeah.
Jen led me here.
I know I did.
Wow.
Okay, but
Also-
at like, here's the thing. At
Do I get to defend myself?
16%,
No, I
not
just
yet.
have to take that.
to
Okay.
take
No,
it.
so
So-
you're just gonna
I think at like 16%, she meets Adam though. And
Yes.
so that's a big red herring. And I spent a lot of time being like, are we doing Arson Man? Is that who we're
Interesting.
jumping into bed with? I don't know. Anyway, sorry, Jen.
Interesting.
Please.
Okay.
I mean,
Right. So here's what I'll say is this book to me, it breaks a lot of rules, right? That I
Mhm.
normally am not a fan of. But I think part of the reason I'm okay with it is because to me, their books are more like urban fantasy than a standalone romance.
yes.
And I think
yeah.
one way to think about it for me is like this series, that's 3 books, is like a TV show miniseries that is 3 episodes long.
So
I will
taken
say-
together, it's
right?
like 5% in.
exactly.
See, there you go.
I see. Good argument.
I will say, like, there is a cinematic quality. We talk a
Yeah.
lot about romance novels and, you know, what's cinematic and what would make a good TV show and how hard it is to film a thought.
Mhm.
This would make a great, I mean, you could take
Yeah.
this whole
Hell
thing,
yeah.
just transfer it to film, and I would watch the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah.
right, right. So I
Yeah.
think I am more forgiving of it because I really wasn't expecting it, I guess. I knew
Mm.
going in, and then like when your expectations are like, you know, I knew going in that they don't, like, they kiss in this book, but they don't really get together, and that it wouldn't happen till book 2. So I let me tell you, when I read these books, I was buying them on like Kindle sales, right? Like so I
Yeah.
had them in my Kindle, but I hadn't read them. And in a weekend, I was like, all right, I'm going to fucking read this book. Everyone
That's
says
right.
it's great. Right. So I read the first one. I immediately read the second one. And then when I got to the third one, I was like, okay, this is so good. I'm going to go back and read 1 and 2 again before letting myself read 3. And that's what I did all weekend one summer. I just read.
What a perfect.
I just had to bring it up because of what happened to me when we read the Sookie Stackhouse books, which are my problematic faves from back in the day.
I love those.
And just
I love those.
were embodied everything I hate in every other book. So I had to bring it up.
Yeah, I think one of the things about Sookie Stackhouse though is like one of the things I like is that like these are clearly planned trilogies. Right? Where Sookie Stackhouse instead got more of the like, oh, it got really popular. Now we want your one book to be 3 books. Oh no, now make it 6. And then there's all this retconning and they're changing.
Will
shit,
they?
and
Won't
like,
they?
Yeah. So, oh, that wasn't really what happened. And I feel like these feel more controlled. Maybe that's why I'm more forgiving of them.
Well, it's also a very clear romantic arc. There's no doubt that it's these two.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Once you get to him, there's no
doubt.
All
right. So Erin, why don't you walk us through how we get to him?
Yeah.
So
oh God, Erin, please.
I feel like this happens every time we have guests and then I'm like asked to explain a thing and then like it's embarrassing. So there's like there is that agency and she's like doing the investigation and then like she encounters Adam Pierce like at least once, right?
That's the pyro man. Yeah. They're in the botanical garden.
At the botanical gardens.
Who has
and I think this
the instant hots for her.
I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like he's got to be really stinky. Like he only wears leather in Houston and like always outside and always on a motorcycle, which is like a very hot
only wears leather
situation.
And he is very hot. Like he's a fireman.
Yeah, I mean he is a fireman, but maybe that makes him able to,
maybe he just burns the stench right off.
He doesn't sweat because he's so hot.
No, the whole time I was just like, this man seems hot, but he also seems very stinky to me.
Listen, I lived in Houston and a lot of the like landscape of the books is like really true. Like I can picture it in my head, but the entire time I was like, if this was really Houston, there'd be flying fucking cockroaches.
Oh yeah,
I'm familiar
with
those.
They've magic.
Did you love
magic power is like I'm gonna fucking kill these things, right?
Did you love the exotic locations in this book, like the Galleria Mall?
You know what? I really was like, oh, I know exactly where that is.
Me too.
In book 3, there's a whole thing that goes down that is like literally right by where my in-laws live, and they destroy a movie theater that's like the one we go to when we go to visit them.
Cool.
Nice.
Bye, spoilers.
Okay, so she encounters him at the botanical gardens. He does like do a Bernie thing and they like do a flirt thing. Then he's gone. Then she's like hanging out in like a courtyard downtown and she just like sees a hot man.
Oh,
and then he's like coming at her and she's just like, wow, he's so hot. And he's like walking at
not
me.
fire hot, just hot.
Just like regular
I feel like we have to
animal magnetism.
Imagine for yourselves a romance hero. He's a dark-haired, the romance hero with the turquoise eyes of the romance hero and the square jaw and the cheekbones. And he's coming at her. And then he's got like a piece of like ribbons. And then he does throw those ribbons at her. Wait, no. First she runs.
She runs.
Like gun at her.
She runs.
But then he does throw those ribbons at her.
Like,
and then
Texas cowboy like wanders up and is like, hey, don't scare that woman. And he's like, I wouldn't come over here if I were you.
Mad Rogan.
Like,
I'm Mad Rogan.
Enough.
Yeah.
She's like, Justice for Texas cowboy. Like, who's he dating? What's his deal? Because
right.
Well, you don't want him. He just left her.
Yeah, his politics are probably problematic too. But like, just to get
Mad
involved,
Rogan.
I feel like he had some balls.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. I love the fact that she's like, I'm being kidnapped in broad daylight. There are 30 people
Dozens
watching
of people,
this
yeah.
minimum.
Just like, oh no.
And like, nobody's going to step in because this guy.
Mad Rogan.
Nonsense.
Because he's the king. And they're all like, well, you don't fuck with the king.
Well, and he's like the scourge and stuff. Like he's known for being mass murderer.
Yeah.
That's his whole deal.
That's literally how he's described in chapter 1. He's a mass murderer.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like,
Sarah was like, why didn't you tell me this before? I
was like, now wait a Listen, nobody has described him this way.
And I was like, hold on. All right. So here's the part I love. He takes her. Okay. I know it's terrible. I love this part. He takes her down to his basement where we get a better idea of how magic works, because if you have chalk and you can draw circles, you can amplify your magic. And he has drawn some sort of chalk circles on the basement floor.
I would be so bad at magic.
Yeah, me too. That are used
that to be good circles.
Yeah, right. That is used to
draw a circle. Kind of nonsense. You want me to make the lines match up at the end? On the ground?
You were poorly bred. I don't know what to say.
They breed artists, or do you have to freehand it? Is it part of the magic that you have to freehand it, or can you put a mug down?
No.
Okay. All right. Cool.
There's a giant compass. Anyway,
Mad Rogan flummoxed by circles.
Yeah, no, Nevada's flummoxed by circles. Okay, so he gets her down to the basement. He's gonna squeeze the truth out of her, right? He's interrogating her using this
mentally
circle.
With his mind, right? His mind hands.
He's doing a Geneva Convention breakage. He's just like, fuck the Geneva Convention.
There's no Geneva Convention in these books. Yeah, right. No.
But there is, though. That's the thing.
That there is.
The military stuff in this book is very real.
Well, Gordon is retired military. So I expect that it was appropriately real.
All the military stuff checks out until they're like, and then we invaded Belize, and it's but Belize, is that
where we?
You do find
there
out
was
more
a
about
magic well of ore that is magical in there.
I think the Geneva Convention does exist in the books. However, Mad Rogan is no longer bound by them because he is no longer a U.S. Army soldier.
He doesn't follow rules. He doesn't whatever he wants.
But also because he's a sociopath. He doesn't care.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so he's
I'm
gonna break your brain.
Her.
Yeah, but
in a hot way.
In a hot way. And here's the part that's great. We've already seen Nevada's real competence porn. I think that's the other thing I really like about this book, right? She is just great at her fucking job. And she manages to essentially, she doesn't really even really understand how her own power works, but she uses her own power essentially to stave off this attack. Well, right. And it's great.
And then she does a big loophole on him.
Yes. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Because he's he wants to know who hired
where
you.
Is this? He wants to know where this kid is.
Right.
Who I guess it's not a kid, but in my head is a child.
Yeah. But he's
Aaron Pierce.
He's I want you to tell me
as an adult.
Why you're yeah, he super is. Especially in Texas.
Did an arson.
Killed
some people.
No, I'm not sympathetic to him. I'm just
saying. I just hoped at the end of the book it wasn't and then he was charged with the felony murder that he did commit.
Well, there's also
wait, but he was.
No. So
he was.
Adam was.
But wait.
Okay, there's two levels of government, right? There's the regular civilian government, and then there's the houses
magic government.
Yeah,
don't they all try their own people?
Right. So there's a point at which if it's all a magic crimes or magic houses at war with each other, or
sure. So this is how justice works. This works great. I bet.
Yeah.
Well, that's how the military does it.
Yeah, I know, and it works great there. So
I've seen a few good men. It totally works. Okay. Anyway,
wait, no, but Melody was explaining.
Sorry.
They need it. So they're looking for this guy.
Yeah. So he wants to know where Adam is so that he can find his nephew. And he's trying to be who hired you? Why are you around? Why have you been able to find Adam and talk to him? Because I did hear his motorcycle go away. And because nobody else has been able to find Adam Pierce. And so she's I can't tell you anything about my client. I can't tell you anything about my investigation. I can't tell you anything, period. The end. It's unethical and wrong. So it's not going to happen. And so he does a mind vice on her that is rough. And she's oh my God, so they're sitting on the ground.
It's great.
And she's getting she's having to exert so much energy. They're both getting overheated. And there's a point at which she's just sitting in her bra and underwear because she cannot have clothing on and be able to like really contend with this onslaught. So at one point, he does a banter with her that's like, I mean, you know, I'm not going to stop. So feel free to take off the bra. And I was just like, oh no, I'm not okay. And then she outsmarts him. She outfoxes him by telling him her biggest personal secret instead of the secret he wants. And it breaks the spell. What a fucking genius.
And it also breaks him because he goes to get her water. He's like, I can see that I've like, that I don't, he starts to feel feelings. Let's be honest.
Yeah, right.
And then he's like, I don't like this. I have to get this woman water.
And then he takes her back to her family home and puts her.
And then he's like, forget it.
He just drop her on the front step.
Yes.
So he doesn't tuck her in or anything.
No.
Okay, wait. Is this the one where he gets the carnations?
He basically calls her a beautiful little fool.
It is the book where he gets the carnations, but it is
the book. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry, I thought you meant the scene. Yeah.
No, right. So this is, you know what? And she's like, holy shit, I just almost got killed by Mad Rogan. What a psychopath. And he's like, I think I like her. And
he's like touche, madam. Like not many people are able to outdo me.
Let me give you water and take you home.
So then he starts calling her, right? And meanwhile, one of my favorite scenes is he calls her, right? And she and her grandmother are looking at the phone trying to figure out something else. And she's like, I'll call you back. And he hangs up on him. She hangs up on him. He's like, did you just hang up on me? And she's like, yeah, I'm talking to my grandma about this other thing. Call me back.
I don't work for you. I'm not working for you.
Right? It's so great.
Oh my God.
No one ever says no to him, right?
Yeah.
No one has ever stands up to him.
Yeah.
No one ever is not terrified by him, but Nevada doesn't give a fuck.
You know what the other thing I love about Nevada is that she's just like, I have an obvious psychopath and I'm also going after an obvious psychopath. And like both of these worlds are merging. You know what I need to do? I need to shove an electric slug into my bone of my arm.
Oh, that's right.
What was that?
Okay,
it's
incredibly this part
that did go into her arm part.
I can explain this part. Okay.
Oh, please tell me everything.
Okay. Remember we talked about how there's different kind of magic.
Yeah.
So she is a mental mage, but then there are combat mages, right? Yeah. So he's the combat mage because he can fucking kill you.
Oh,
so if you are a mental mage and you don't have any combat powers, then your only thing you can do is essentially like level up in some way, right? So then she gets these shockers implanted. And essentially what's going to happen is then if someone comes at her, she can use her magic to activate these things. So her mental mage power can become a combat power with the assistance of these things. But it's really dangerous, right? Like she's not supposed to use them on primes. And this is like the first hint, like spoiler alert, that like she is actually a prime.
She's super a prime.
I mean, obviously
she's gotta be
a prime.
Of course, right? But she doesn't know this because her parents essentially have raised her. She has magic, but she's not from a magical family. They are not.
And she's not supposed to show it.
And she's not supposed to show it. It's going to be very dangerous if people knew what she could do.
Does Grandma Frida know that she's a prime?
I think so, because
maybe Grandma knows.
Yeah. I think her
grandmas know everything.
Yeah. Well, and Grandma's power to fix tanks is magically fueled, right? And her mom is a sniper. And it's like magically fueled,
and it's like a magical.
Also, I think Grandma has like magical healing powers because boy, did she bounce back real fucking quick from the house fire / like head trauma, like TBI situation.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, she got hit with a wrench. Everybody.
Yeah, if I got hit in the head with a wrench and then left for like dead in a burning building, like I feel like I wouldn't be like making biscuits that afternoon.
No, like when Captain Marvel just like decks that old lady on the train, and and they just fight it out.
Yes.
So Mad Rogan is like, okay, let's go for lunch. I promise not to try and kidnap you or whatever,
but I might try to do other stuff.
I think he says, I'm not going to hurt you.
He tries to trick her. Her mom is a sniper outside the window. They have a very tension. The sexual tension is high at this lunch.
Absolutely.
I
And
wish
he's
he
like,
would have
we
sat in
want
that chair that did whatever he was gonna. I like it when he does magic on her, and I wanted her to sit in the chair, and I wanted him to trap
See
her
what
in the
happens.
chair. That's what I wanted.
Listen.
I wanted the whole book to take place in that basement. That's what I wanted. When she got out of the basement, I was like, "Ooh, he doesn't have you tied up anymore." And then when she didn't sit in the chair, I was like, "Not gonna get trapped in chair." Like I was
what a
deeply disappointed by this. I mean, good for Nevada or whatever, but rough stuff for old Aaron.
But then can we talk about the scene where he does do magic on her? Like,
oh yeah, at the Galleria.
Magic on her.
Well, because they decide that they're
Galleria
going to be a
Mall.
partnership to find this
At the
Broseph.
mall.
That's what's going on. And during one of their capers to figure out where this guy is and what's going on, they do end up at that Galleria Mall with a lady who wants to bone down with Mad Rogan right now in public.
Yeah,
He does do a crazy strangle on her by
Yeah,
braiding
boy.
her dress.
Oh,
Like,
and that's
I
your
just-
least favorite thing. Yeah.
I hate a strangle.
Well,
but
but,
it's different when it's different. It's different
not
than when
on the
Derek Craven does a
heroin.
strangle with his hands. This is a magic strangle that like a king magic man did, so I feel like it's better.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
But it was difficult.
His name
for me
is
to
Connor, though.
King Connor.
It was difficult for me to get out of my head that they were at the mall. So like when all of this was happening, like when these two ladies were just like fully having orgasms in like the food court of the mall, like I couldn't stop imagining like
they
the
were
teens
outside
at the next
Nordstrom.
table being like,
Does that make it a little better?
Is that lady having like a fucking
I mean,
orgasm? Like I
if-
feel like that
listen,
was happening.
If you had to pick a store at the mall where you were gonna have an orgasm,
God.
clearly it would be Nordstrom.
Would it be
Hot
Nordstrom?
topic. Oh,
Wait
okay,
a
okay,
second.
that's fine
Would
too,
it be
that's fine too.
Nordstrom? Point of
Yes.
order. What
Oh, please
mall
tell me
store
everything.
would you like to be orgasmed in? I don't think
Nordstrom.
I don't think it's a Nordstrom.
What would
It's Hot
yours
Topic.
be?
I'm sorry. That's
I
the
was gonna
answer to
say
the
Hot Topic
question.
or Spencer's. Like
Spencer's, right?
Spencer. Do those exist still?
You can find a vibrator
we're
in there
aging
to give you an
ourselves.
I
orgasm at
know.
Spencer's.
I know. I feel like the clerk would be like pretty
Like
okay with
down,
it.
like back in the lava lamp corner.
Oh
Yeah.
God. What is more erotic,
You-
Sarah?
Listen, I need new
And
friends.
a lava lamp, I know. When I was growing up, there was a boy in my high school who had a water bed and a lava lamp.
Oh my
And
God.
I know because I was in that room.
Get it.
It's too much.
Unfortunately,
It's too
not
much
with him.
flowing. I would
Can
get
we
motion
contact
sick.
him
It's too
and ask
much.
him where he'd want to have an orgasm at the mall?
Also, like, what teenager has a water bed? We should come back to that at some
We
point.
should.
A future episode.
It was like the
Like,
90s.
I was
though.
going to say
That
on
was
an
the thing.
episode or like with your therapist, or how
Have
do you
we
want to
ever-
come back to
wait,
that?
This is making me realize, Jen, has anybody read a romance novel with a waterbed?
No,
I have not.
I know I have not.
I don't think I have.
That's a
What
wow.
happened? Why do waterbeds never get to romance?
Listener, can
'Cause
you
they're
tweet at us if you
terrible.
have read
Yeah.
a romance with a water
Yeah,
bed?
you
I
know,
want to
it's
know.
But like, if
Kelly
you
had a
own
waterbed when we were
Did
teenagers.
she really?
Yeah.
I had a water
she loved
bed
it.
growing up.
You did.
Mhm.
What? This is fascinating to me.
Wow.
Why? Did you
Weirdly, it
have
was in our
one?
spare room, which I felt like was a difficult ask for guests. Like, welcome to
Or
our
maybe
home.
it was like
Waterbed.
classy. Like, here's
Yeah, I don't
we've
know.
saved the best bed for the guests.
Yeah, I mean, we probably got rid of it like late 90s, I would think.
How do you
like,
get a waterbed in and out? I have so many waterbed
They're-
questions, and
the
I
logistics
literally
are
have not thought about
terrible.
this for years.
We moved into
Sure.
the home when I was like 3 years old, so I have no memory of the waterbed entering the home. I do have a memory of it exiting the home,
Mm.
and
which
it
was
had to
a
be
problem
drained,
if I
right?
recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to like put a
Yeah.
hose out the window or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
drain that sucker. And they're so
Anyway.
heavy.
If you've read a
like
romance
just the
novel
mattress part.
With a waterbed.
with a waterbed, we're
Let us
going to
know.
read it as a deep dive on our
Yes.
next Faded Bosoms.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, so wait. So what we
All right,
find
sorry.
out, so this
That's a
lady
pause for
was
Nordstrom.
like, here I am at Nordstrom Rack. I would like you to tell me whether or not
Nordstrom.
you're
Is
Is it Nordstrom or Nordstrom Rack? Because like, I feel like the
Nordstrom.
vibe
Well,
is
then I
different.
really don't want to have an orgasm at Nordstrom.
I think I don't know. They're different. One is an outlet. Oh, listen, I don't know. I'm not a shopper. I'm not great about it. So she's at a Nordstrom, the real kind, and she's like, I want you to show me whether or not you're a tactile.
Yeah.
And Nevada is sitting there being like, the fuck is a
fuck's a
tactile?
And
Right.
Sarah's like, what? A
Yeah.
tactile.
Uh-huh. J'explain to
Yes.
me, please. And he
Here it
does.
goes.
She watches him just like put his eyeballs on her, and she starts getting all hot and bothered, and she's like, more, oh, mad. Oh, I can't. Whoa, this weird thing that just happened.
Pretty much, yes, that is accurate. That's you're doing it great.
That sound was in the text.
It really was. Oh, amazing.
And then Nevada, like any self-respecting woman, is like, now wait just a second. What's
happened
this
there?
like?
Can I just try it out?
And I love that she first tells him no, because he's like, the easiest way to tell you what it is to just like, I don't know, show you. And she's like, no, I am a self-respecting private investigator. I mean, yes, I would like that. Thank you.
It's perfect.
But also,
honestly,
we're at a mall. Like, can we?
I know they find a quote unquote alcove.
Who cares?
And I was like, an alcove of
you have
what?
no
It's a
voyeur
ballroom.
Mall
tendencies
stairs
whatsoever.
modern.
The stairs are not a store where I want to have an
Is
orgasm.
there a water
in at the mall.
fountain next to them? Because that's
There's
high
a
traffic
fountain.
in the 90s.
Listen, malls are modern day ballrooms. An alcove, like
Yes.
behind a potted fern, is what's happening.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
You've
I'm also
all-
nervous in those
You all
scenes.
bought that. Oh, you are.
I'm nervous.
I don't
Oh.
love it, but I feel like Sarah McLean said it. So
It's fine.
if you're telling me that malls are the modern day ballroom, like I feel like I can't
It's
really
unfortunate,
argue
but
with that wisdom.
pretty basic, right? I mean,
I mean, yeah, I feel like that's correct. I don't have a problem with it.
So then he does a mental nipple tweak on her.
listen, he doesn't just do a mental tweak. It's a lot more than that. There's
No.
a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of touching, and then
And
he's
it's-
like,
And
"Hang on,
it's
a
literally
second."
hot a little
Yeah.
bit. Like it's
Yeah, 'cause he's
warm all over her skin.
So
Velvety.
he's just revealed to her,
Oh.
right? Like this is the scene where he has just revealed to her that he is an empath as well as
Right. That's
like
what
so
makes
he
right.
can make you feel as well
Yes.
as like
Right.
make you move.
But
then he feels
Nevada
the thing that
finds
you're
out
feeling.
She gets
Yeah.
hot, and then he's like,
I feel that
also
too.
hot.
when you react to my noodle touches on you, you know, the mental kind. He's been noodling on her, and she's been feeling
not
it.
noodle in
So-
the brain.
So he feels it back, and he feels like how
I like how
excited
Aaron's
she
like-
is. Yeah, Aaron. Tell me.
So,
everything.
like, remember when the girl who was strangled for being slutty was strangled?
Yes.
When
Harper
he-
Larvo.
That's the one.
Yeah. There's a little woman on woman crime in this book.
Yeah.
And that was one of the victims.
Well, she was also a perpetrator.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the receptionist at what Evil Corp,
Oh my God.
it did nothing to anyone. But anyway,
True.
so when she was getting strangled, but also simultaneously having like a violent orgasm in the middle of a mall, was Mad Rogan also then
No.
splooging in his pants?
Yes.
Okay. Because I feel like if
No.
he said like when
He
when
can turn it on and off.
a thing,
Yeah,
the thing
right.
comes back on him.
Yeah,
so
but
he
yeah,
feels
but
what
he's
you're
Nevada.
saying.
also a sociopath, right?
Well, and
So
he
he
also
can be
did
like-
it. He didn't do her to completion. He did that strangle before she could get like overly
But
excited. about
arguably,
it.
she was far more turned on than Nevada was because he did more to her than he did to Nevada, right?
Mayhaps, yeah. And like, I'm fine. You know, a physiological reaction is something that you can't control. But one thing that he does control is the tension and hotness feedback, because he's
Right.
like, oh my
Yeah.
God, Nevada, I can feel how you want me. This
Right.
is real. Like
I
you've
mean,
been
he's
lying
feeling
to me.
feelings.
He's feeling
Yeah.
feelings. I think
Yeah.
he would only have that kind of
And
reaction
can I
with
say
her.
something else in that line where he says like, when you get hot, I get hot, and you're on
Mhm.
fire, right? That right before he says that, the tag on it is he grinned, like Mad Rogan,
Yeah.
Oh.
grinning with like excitement, entertainment, delight. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I want it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I like
amazing.
When
that
are
a
they
lot.
gonna bang? Not in this book.
Not
Two.
now.
When are they? That really
For
is
sure
the
not
question,
now.
Sarah.
Book
And it's
two,
a question
everybody.
I can't
Sorry.
answer.
I can answer book two.
Okay, fair
Is
enough.
it right
Thank
away?
you.
It's like page
No.
one.
it is not.
Motherfucker.
All right, listen. They figure out that Adam and his accomplices are trying to, okay, so chalk is an amplification circle, but there are also objects that can amplify your power.
Right.
And so what Adam and his accomplices are after is essentially like a set of artifacts that are going to amplify Adam's fire making power and make him essentially like a god of fire. And as a Chicagoan, I really like, there's this whole part where
I love this.
right?
I love this. Great.
Right. So in Chicago, everybody, there's a great Chicago fire. And there's a whole story about how this woman, Mrs. O'Leary, like her cow knocked over a lantern, and that's what started the Great Chicago Fire.
There's a very famous old song.
Yeah, right. And this is like a story, like, even though, I mean, like, if you're ever down on shopping on Michigan Avenue, like the old water tower is one of the few buildings that's still there, right? Like the whole city burned down. And so it was actually really interesting because what they say in the book is that it was these artifacts that were used to burn down Chicago. That's, and then like the Mrs. O'Leary's cow was essentially just a, it was a scapegoat. True, a scapegoat, right? That's true. Cow. That's also true now. Like it was not her cow, the cow. But so I thought that was like a kind of a cool Chicago connection, was like, the story that you've heard in your real life. That's another thing I think that's cool about this series is there's enough like nods to like your world when we're in that, you get that real sense that like, oh, okay, like this is an adjacent magical world. I used to talk about it as being like Harry Potter for grownups, but J.K. Rowling is a garbage human. So I don't
she's the worst.
say that anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so they're like, we have to stop this dude. Oh man, he turns into a fire dinosaur in like Houston's Times Square is what I got from that.
Yes. And he was mad, right?
Yeah.
He was furious because she got hurt. Is that this?
Well, no, this is you're kind of at the end now. Like there's still some like, like they're,
oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
You're right, because
there's like a burn down her house. And a whole thing,
there's
and then like he gets hit by a car, and then he has to go to like the fake hospital because he wouldn't go to the real hospital, and then she got hurt.
Wait, that's after my favorite part.
That's after they get the second artifact, though. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, right. Well, they save an artifact, and actually, this part's really hot. Like they save an artifact, the whole building comes down around them.
He's that fire dinosaur.
Yeah, and Mad Rogan just like boom, like saves them. And
I thought you were talking about the end, Mel.
I thought you were talking about the end too. Yeah, they have to cuddle underneath the, the fallen.
And she does shoot 3 people in the head in a very competent, hot way, but also she has a soul, so she's big worried about it.
Yeah,
and that's I thought that was really. One thing I loved about this book is that Ilona Andrews never backed away from him being like a true sociopath, because when they talk
when
about
he squished that guy.
Yeah. Oh, loved that. Loved it when he squished that guy.
But so here's the thing though. So I like reading this, right? I think a lot about, I think a lot about sociopathic heroes and like how we forgive them, right? Like what we forgive. But I think part of the reason why we are so willing to forgive Mad Rogan is because from the jump, right? Like Ilona is like, this person is a sociopath. He is a mass murderer. Like you are either in this book or you are not. Like, you either close the book after chapter 1 or you're like, okay, I'm in. There's no middle way with Mad Rogan. And I think that there's something we talk on the podcast all the time about like authors who like swing for the fences, right?
Yes.
And this is just like this is the hero of this book. Yeah. And I love it.
Well, and they never pull their punches. Like when she's talking about her feelings about killing these people, he's like, yeah, when I first killed a person, like the first time I killed a person with my bare hands, there had been others before, but I felt like I should feel something when I killed someone up close and personal, and I felt literally nothing. Like, what is it like for you? Yeah. And she's like, I feel like a piece of myself is missing and I can never get it back. And the fact that like, I don't know, it just, they never back away from it. They never pull their punches on it. And I love it.
I think the other thing that I like about this is, and this is, there's a whole slew of like witch romances right now. And I actually haven't read many of them. And I think part of it is because like, I love this series so much, but I really love that it's like, okay, if you have these huge powers, society's rules are different, right? Like this is a book that really leans hard into, okay, what would society really look like if people could kill each other just by looking at each other? Right. And it's like, like all of the like rules and etiquette are essentially because these are all, predators. And so if you make a bunch of rules that everybody has to follow. And so one of the things that's really cool is that like as Nevada enters this world, it's not going to be, I don't think of this as really being dark romance. It's more like morality chain, right? Like this is a morality chain book is, she's like, I understand that your world's different and sometimes I have to engage with it, but I don't want to be sucked into that world. Right. That's why the killing people is never going to be okay with her. Even if in later books, when she has to kill people, it still is hard for her.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, though, that we have also Adam Pierce, who is the villain of the book, who is objectively very, very sexy man. Like Grandma Frida is in love with him. He's into the heroin and has an infatuation in the same kind of way that Mad Rogan does, has the same kind of like there's a lot of parallels between Mad Rogan and Adam Pierce. In some ways, they are very similar and the same guy. But the difference between the two is that Mad Rogan feels nothing when he kills people, whereas it seems that Adam Pierce feels pleasure.
Enjoyment.
So we've kind of got a spectrum of like, we have her, who's our like moral compass. And then, so we've got this foil to pit him off of who's worse than him because he actually like kind of gets off on killing people.
Sure.
I also think that Mad Rogan follows the rules though. Right. I think that's the other difference. Adam Pierce is like, I can't wait to blow up these rules.
No, I don't think he follows the rules. I think he just accepts. I think that he enjoys his.
You're talking about Mad Rogan right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because he doesn't follow the rules. He doesn't think the rules apply to him, period, the end, because he's a prime. I think he just really likes his privilege within the system that exists. Whereas Adam is such like he's so immature and he needs so much attention and all of that he's like, no, I'm just going to burn everything to the ground. I'm going to get back at my family. I'm going to, I'm going to just destroy everything so that we can start over. And I feel like Mad Rogan's like, no, we're super not, because I am great. I'm great here.
Well, Mad Rogan also has reasons.
And he has reasons.
Yeah, he has reasons. And also don't discount the writing here because, you already mentioned it, Erin. Ilona puts on the page early when they watch that video of Mad Rogan as a child taking down the building in Mexico, right? There's that moment where she recognizes in his face. Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. There's something about the blue eyes looking into the camera, not exactly sadness, but a kind of self-awareness underscored by a slightly bitter smile, almost as if he knew he was a human hurricane and regretted it, but he wouldn't stop. Right. And so as a reader, like that is such deft writing because we haven't met him yet, or we've met him, but we haven't spent any time with him. She hasn't met him yet, but already she is sympathetic to him and therefore we are too.
Yep.
Yeah. I sort of got that he was resigned to
like this
reality.
Is who I am.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a monster, but what do you want me to do about it?
Right. Like I was born this way, but I do think he follows I understand what you're saying about like the rules don't apply to him, but he does follow society's rules, right? The rules for primes.
Sure.
Right? There are rules for primes and he essentially follows them. And when Adam doesn't, that, at one point she actually says like, you're like him. You're just like this rich, powerful. He was like, I'm nothing like him.
Right. No, he's nothing like him because he likes the system they're in. He's going to follow the rules for primes because it really benefits him, even if he suffers a little bit.
But I think he also understands maybe more than anyone that without those rules, all the primes would be running around like Adam Pierce just destroying shit. And he was a destroyer. Right. Yeah. So I think he realizes like somebody's got to put us all in check. And if we all agree to these rules.
And that's why
and it's also loves I'm king.
Her role model. He also loves Lenora. Is her name Lenora?
Oh, yeah. Lenora Jordan. Yeah.
That's the one. Oh, he's like, somebody has to keep us in check. Even I know that. Yes, Erin. Does she keep them in check
The
though?
hero worship of Lenora was a little like she mentioned several times. I think she's the coolest, most badass person in Houston because she puts criminals in chains like several times. And I was like, can we not like I'm saying this as a prosecutor myself.
I was
like,
gonna
can
say,
we not
are you
be
jealous,
like
Erin?
put criminals in chains? Like, can that just not be like the thing where I didn't love it.
Yeah, I see that. I could see that. It's a
to the point
punitive
where,
system
like,
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, fair
when
enough.
Adam at the end is doing his like Shiva the Destroyer thing where he's
Ugh.
like, let's scrap it all and like
Yeah.
start a new world. And like at the beginning of that villain monologue, I was like, and then he lost the thread a little bit. Like at the beginning where he was like, this system is corrupt. Like it's the haves and the have-nots. And if you have, then you get away with stuff. And then, and I was like, I'm pro Adam. Like, let's fuck Adam.
And he's like, let's kill everyone.
And then he's like,
then
all those people in the
kinda
tunnels.
Yeah.
He had it, he had
So
it, and then he
close.
lost it,
Adam.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sorry, so where were we? So
don't know.
okay, so they get the second artifact and then they kill a bunch of people and he saves them from a giant fireball by putting them into that rubble tunnel.
Well, but
Where they
wait, did
cuddle.
we talk about
Where they do that snuggle. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then I think there's like there's a lot that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like one of the other things though that's like my favorite part about this book is when he saves her family, right? Like after this, and I'm not sure we're going in order because
No, we're not.
Yeah,
We're
it's
all over
fine.
the place now.
This is right after lunch.
Yeah, this is after lunch, right? She goes home and she gets this alarm notification: your house is on fire. And this is also
Everything's on fire in this book.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, wait, when was this fire? Oh no, that was before the
Constantly.
other fire. Well, Adam is a fire starter. It's
Yeah.
fine, but not like cute.
Not
Drew
cute like Drew
Barrymore.
Barrymore.
That's a deep cut.
Not too deep.
yes,
Not,
yeah.
not so deep.
Yep.
We didn't find it.
Yeah. But there's a part where he meets her mother. And he's like, I've seen your service record and I consider you an active threat. So please stay away from me. And I was like, I'm your future mother-in-law, Mad
love
Rogan. What are you
that
doing?
That's exactly how you should be to your future mother.
Right? Is that amazing? He's like, I will
love
kill
this
you.
so
if you-"
much.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Completely.
He's like, don't make me tell my security team that you're an actual threat because we
Yeah.
will go through with that.
Right.
Ugh.
But I also I love when a dangerous man takes dangerous women seriously.
Mhm.
Oh, I
That's a
love that.
micro
That's
trope.
a quote. Put that on
Yeah.
a thing. Stamp that on a t-shirt.
That's why I think he's so sexy because he is like, yeah, I can kick everybody's ass, but I also understand that there are a lot of powerful people around me. And there's a lot of women who are really powerful. And, you are a threat. So just know that.
Yeah. I see you. I'm
Right.
watching you.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So now they decide to give this artifact. They take it out of the Batman vault in Mad Rogan's lair,
Sure.
which like I don't understand that at all. But they do take that and they just take it to a municipal building. And they're like,
It's gonna get lost there in the red tape. It's fine.
ensure that
It's
just
a
the
very
metal
Raiders of the Lost
detectors-
Ark. At the
Nobody's
end, where
ever
it's
gonna
just
look in this
gonna
file
go into the
cabinet. It's
big-
fine.
It's gonna go
Throwing
into
the
the big-
artifact into a municipal building is kind of like taking the Jumanji game and like putting it at the bottom of the ocean. Like it will get lost there. Like it will get
No one-
misfiled. Like
yeah.
no one will be able to find it there. It will end up in like
We have seen this trope before, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then they have to figure out what the third artifact is because Adam he's like in a car going,
Right.
He's on his way to go find this third artifact. And when he pieces everything together,
I don't
What's up?
understand how Adam knows where all the artifacts are.
because they did, okay, so the organization did that kidnap on the Ennis child, ?
Yeah.
And then they got the information from that kid and then put that kid back at college. And he was like, I'm in amnesia now.
Right.
And then
right.
now they know.
So I'm not going to spoil anything, but one of the things I also like about remember I said this is like a mini series.
Yeah.
So like little parts of this mystery don't actually really truly get solved till later books.
It's like the
where you get-
Tesseract. Like,
right, where you get sort of the fuller picture of like what's going on and who's behind all of this. Because all along they're like, Adam is kind of a fuck up. There's no way that he is the one. Someone is pulling his strings.
He's not the one.
Right. He's just a he is not a wrecking ball. Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
So I do like, that's like one of the other cool things about this book is like, you get a solid mystery, you get sort of most of it solved. You feel at the end that like, Adam gets punished and whatever, but like, there's more out there that's going to get solved in like later books.
Right. Well, I mean, and that epilogue really knocked my block off because the whole time I was like, I know we met one of the people. You didn't read the epilogue, Erin.
Never have, never will.
Oh my God. I forgot about this. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, the epilogues are from the
get solved in the epilogue.
Erin doesn't read them.
The epilogue is from Mad Rogan's point of view. I'm not telling you, you didn't fucking read it. Oh,
yeah,
I did my homework.
It would be a big spoiler. Oh no, would it be a big spoiler?
That's fine. I'm sticking with it.
Oh God,
I feel
so
like
perplexing.
And I know there are author on this Zoom call. However, I just feel like end your book at the ending. If you need, just end it. You shouldn't need a second
I'm still
ending.
waiting.
I have a lot of questions. Can I ask some more questions? Okay.
Don't I decide when the ending
Do you leave a restaurant before having dessert?
Often, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you, when you go to a Marvel movie, stick around for the extra scenes?
I don't know.
She doesn't
do that.
Don't know.
Listen, I just want to say, as author on the Zoom call, what's perplexing to me is this concept that the book is over before I finished the book. You know what I mean? Like
okay.
You see what I mean? Like I'm the first author to say like, actually the book doesn't even exist until you read it. So great. But what's weird is like, I remember writing them all.
So Erin,
there's wild. If I just made it chapter 26, you'd read it.
Yeah,
I think
that's what's bananas
I don't
to me.
know.
Like
it started out that I didn't read epilogues as a rule in romance because it's just always when they like get babies or get married, and that ruins it for me, to be honest. And I know that that's not always what happens. And I've been on this journey with the podcast that there are many epilogues that's not the situation.
Well, it's wild because like I have a couple of epilogues where like that's the whole twist is in the epilogue.
I'm reaching for one right now that's laying on the floor over there.
So,
but
listen,
here's the thing: I've become very entrenched in this thing.
Yeah, sure.
No,
she's standing
like
her ground.
Your identity as a
I understand.
It's fine. It's fine.
I get it. Hey, Erin, here's one thing I will tell you. One of the things I like is the epilogue is in third person, and it's from Mad Rogan's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I did read it.
Oh, see, and I actually like that because I feel like
we can cut all this out. It's
the
not
epilogue is like
anymore.
it's like literally a different thing, which then makes
so sorry
that you would not call it chapter 26 or whatever.
So now I know how to
so you do know how the mystery ends.
Put it in a different.
I did read
right,
it.
right. Good call. Okay, I'm sorry. So they
we're all over the place. It's fine. I'm enjoying myself.
We are.
Well, I listened to it. It just played right through.
We need to talk about the kiss. I think Sarah's right.
I mean, that's where I'm trying to go. Yeah. So they're about to try and find. They're trying to find the third artifact. Stop Adam. Do all this stuff, and they're like prepping for that. And he is trying to teach her prime magic, basically, because she needs her powers to be stronger than they are. And he just knows that it's inside her, everyone. He just knows how fucking
there's so much inside her.
And he wants to mine all of it. Yeah, it's great stuff. Sorry. So he's like trying to teach her how to draw a circle.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Wait, can we talk about when he looks at the circle? He's so pissed off because she's been hurt.
Yeah.
Wait, this is going back a little bit, but I love, I fucking love this moment. I love it when heroes do this shit. She's been hurt. He's fucking furious. So he's like thrown a bus at someone. Like he's just literally, right? And he looks down because he's asked her, like, there was this like fight. And he was like, you got to draw me a circle to amplify my magic. So she does. And then she's like bleeding. Her knees are bleeding. She's scraped herself up from
she's been garroted, partially garroted.
She's been tied up with wires, but also drawing this man's fucking circle. She skinned her knees, which hurts, you guys.
It hurts. It does hurt.
And then he looks down at it and he's like, your circle work is shit.
It sucks.
I know. And that gorgeous woman throws the chalk at his face and gets in the car and is like drive. And her
I don't want to see him again. And then that's why he gets her $10,000 worth of carnations that are built into a smooch on her lawn. I feel like probably a smooch. Probably a smooch.
What a man.
It's just a pair of lips.
Who loves carnations that much though? Except for my grandmother really did love
I did have a question about that. Yeah.
Right?
It is a weird thing.
It's a weird thing.
Okay, it's a symbolism thing though. Like a deep red carnation is like a deep red, like
one of those language of flowers,
like a Victorian language thing. Yeah, I'm looking it up.
All right, you
please do.
I've done a lot of flower research.
Really?
Okay.
Cool.
It's a thing that prosecutors are required to do.
For a thing no one will ever read, Sarah. But I did a lot of flower research at one point.
While a dark red carnation conveys feelings of deep love and affection.
See, there you go.
And the deeper the red, the deeper the love and affection.
Oh yeah,
so I think that's why it really went into how deep the red, like they were bloody.
These were like black. Mm-hmm. They were so red. They were
and I love how she's like, that's kind of weird.
How to make circles.
And his her mom is like, honey, there's like 25,000 carnations out there. Like I think he's courting you. And Nevada's like, no.
Certainly not. Absolutely
like, this is
not.
A totally normal thing for a person to do.
Normal for him to do this.
He does that for all of his
She said she thought she told him she didn't want flowers, so it's probably like a prank.
Yeah. I mean, and Nevada's mom was like, you dumbass. It's great. I love that whole family. I think that's the other reason this is a comfort read is because of like the family, right? Like this is, if you are a writer and you want to know how to leverage secondary characters, right? Like this series is so great.
Yeah. Because they're also not too much.
No, they're totally distinctly who they are. And yet they're like really fun, but they don't take up all the air in the room. It's pretty masterful.
Yeah,
it is.
It's great. And every scene is useful.
Yeah.
Like they're not just there to be there. Okay. So he's got his arm on her arm and he's making it into a compass that draws a perfect circle. And because of that, they're very, very close to each other. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she looks up and then he looks into her eyes. Sarah, do you want to cut in at any point?
No, I like to read. I'm enjoying just the read.
So they do
and
this
I'm going,
kiss.
Do it.
Yeah. So they do this kiss and then she starts feeling his tactile abilities all over her body, not just her erogenous zones, but like everywhere. So everything is amplified. And so that she's like whimpering and they're making out and she can, again, I cannot stress the amount.
It's really great
that he's just tweaking all the good parts with his mind during this thing. And then it's so good, everyone, that she does just come by herself with her clothes on. And
what a man.
Like he loves it.
Yeah, he does.
What a man.
What a man.
I mean, look, I have nothing more to say.
It's perfect. I mean, if you are out there and you are like, I love a slow burn, like, and these people who love a slow burn, like, I have questions, but
sure.
Because when you say you love a slow burn, you don't actually know what a slow burn is. Like, this is it. This
it has to be burny.
It has to be
talked about this a lot.
Every
moment burn and then be suddenly a bonfire. It's got to burn the whole time.
Oh. Yeah, you have to be waiting. It's got to be like smoking, and you're like, when is this thing gonna ignite? When is it coming?
Is literally called Burn for Me. Like, this is a book that understands that, like, they are at a full fucking simmer the
You're
entire
onto something,
time.
Jen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm like, the sexual tension between these two is so intense the entire fucking time.
The whole time. And on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Like it's there on a professional level. It's there on like on the way that they are different. They just hit so many different points of the psyche and their emotions and their, just their lived reality.
And it's also like you have this moment when when you see them in that first moment where he sees her, like with the
botanical garden
in the garden, and they're fated mates. Like he sees her. The reason why it is in first person present is because, or first person past is because if we were in Mad Rogan's head at that moment, it would just be like mine.
Yes.
Right. Like
absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think so. Then, okay, look at the end, the way they catch.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I have to read one of the best things I've ever heard a hero say in the world.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
So she's like, this kiss didn't happen. And he's like, no, why the hell not? Like it absolutely did.
I was there.
Yeah. She says, it's unprofessional and dangerous. This didn't happen. And he goes, it happened. I was there and you liked it. She goes, no. And he says, you melted, which just like way to carry that through. You melted. A male self-satisfied smile touched his lips like spring snow. I don't know what you're talking about. We stared at each other. Fine, he said. You had no idea it could be this good. Nobody in your past was ever that good. And you know that nobody in your future will ever be this good. You've had a taste and you want more. You want sex, dirty, naked, hot sex. It's floating through your head as we speak. You think you can imagine what it would be like. Trust me, you have no idea. I haven't even started. So run from it. Think it over. Pretend it didn't happen. Doesn't matter. I'll allow it for now. The more you fight, the more irresistible it will become until one day I'll motion with my hand and you'll come running.
What a man.
I would like to say
don't
something.
ruin this moment for me.
I'm sorry.
No.
Are you about to say something you don't like?
No, not about the writing or the scene. I think that this is beautiful and wonderful. I do want to caution listener because I feel like I'm the only one who listened to the audio.
I've listened.
No, I listened to the audio.
But
you listened to it two double time though.
You did.
Mad Rogan is the only character that has what I would call a thick Bill Compton-esque Southern accent in the audiobook. And if that doesn't do it for you, you might want to read the words, because when I was reading, I found stuff like that far more impactful for me than when I was listening to it, because of the Southern accent just really got me.
I'm so glad you said that, because wow, it was not like that in the reading of the text.
Exactly. So if somebody's listening to this and is deciding between the audio is fantastic. I think the voice actress that does it is great. It's just a personal preference.
You know,
if
it's really
you don't like a
interesting
Houston accent.
No, all heroes sound like Tom Hardy in my head. It doesn't matter where they're from. He's from Houston. He sounds like Tom Hardy.
The reason I've read these books so many times is because it's like I just listen to them when I'm bored and I don't have anything else to listen to. I think she really tempers that accent in book 2.
Oh, that's good.
Like I think she got some feedback was like, can you turn that down a little bit?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting when every time I go back and start again at 1, I'm like, oh yeah.
So when you say Bill Compton, you mean like suck it.
Suck it. Like, this is what I'm gonna do to you. You know, it's that kind of stuff, and it's like that. I'm sure that works for some. It's just not.
He's that guy.
My original cup of tea.
Suck it.
Suck it.
Not my Bill. You know.
Okay, I'm sorry. So you're right.
Sorry.
Now, so she does a big prime mental magic on another dude, and he spills all the secrets after a little while. Yeah. She feels like it might murder her, and everybody's like, you're drawing too much power. And Mad Rogan says she's fine.
Yeah.
She's got
after a little while. Is that after he does stab in and out of his leg?
No, that's way a while.
Oh, that's
ago.
a different guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but then, and so then they're like, okay, we know exactly. We have to go to this public park, near the municipal building that we've been at previously. And on their way out, she's like, I'm coming with you. And he's like, great. And on their way out, the asshat who owns her parent company is like, you're gonna go and you're gonna fight a prime, like you're gonna get killed. And he said, what can you do that Mad Rogan can't? And Mad turns around and he's like, she can shoot him squarely between the eyes. Like, you fuck off. She's great. And we're both going.
Ooh,
yeah, it's awesome.
Can I say I also love that setup because they make it canonical that Mad Rogan is very bad with weapons.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right.
And so like the idea that she comes from this long line of like magic sharpshooters.
Yeah.
It's hot.
No, it's awesome. It's super hot. So look, to make a long story short, it's like then a big magic off between Adam Pearce and Mad Rogan.
They pull their magic dicks out and they are just like, get a yardstick.
Let's not Abraham Lincoln fuck Lord of the Moon. They didn't pull their magic dicks out in sword fight because that's something that literally happened in a book we read. So let's be clear.
Yeah. No, you're right.
What's going to happen is Adam is going to essentially make himself a pillar of fire using these, this. And so what Mad Rogan's going to do is essentially like build a wall around him using telekinesis.
Mm-hmm.
And the trick is both of them are going to enter something called null space, which means like your magic is so powerful that you're not really even existing fully on like our plane of
it's Minecraft.
Sure. They're in Minecraft land.
And magic Minecraft,
and then it's like whose power is going to last the longest, right? Like they're both really powerful, but like, can Mad Rogan contain Adam's fire long enough, right? Of course,
right. I mean, only one of them is a king.
But the trouble is that once Mad Rogan enters this space, he can't turn himself off either, right? So he, in trying to save the city, might actually also destroy the city,
right?
Until.
Oh, she smooches him on his face.
Did
I get it?
And she has to levitate herself. How did she do that? I don't know.
Did it.
Love.
Let us levitate.
To smooch
Listen, literally stops his magic, like calms him the fuck down by kissing him, and it's great.
It's so great. And I love that in the epilogue, they bring that back because it says like Mad Rogan has 2 goals now. He's never had a goal in his life. One is that he's going to take down whoever who's doing the bad stuff. And the second one is that he is going to win Nevada because he says that like he's always enjoyed the sort of detached safety that is the null space because it's like neither good nor bad. Like there's nothing in there. It's just sort of serene. And but the way that he felt all of the things that she's feeling for him in that kiss and like even the complicated contradictory stuff. It's so hot.
And it told him everything he needed to know.
Everything he needed to know.
So we skipped over one of my favorite scenes in the book, which is when they go to the pit. Right. And
I love the bit.
And they're going to go, he smushes that dude. And he's basically like, I'm in charge. When I'm here, I'm in charge. When I'm not here, I don't care who's in charge. And
that
I
was really
like,
hot.
Daddy.
Hot.
Yeah.
Yes. Daddy.
Truly.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, when I'm not around, whatever, but I'm your daddy.
When I'm
right
here,
now.
I'm in charge. And I was like, everyone could have an orgasm just by hanging out with him. That's how hot it is.
Honestly.
Well, yeah. I mean, literally.
It's amazing.
We can all get the touching.
Anytime. I mean,
anytime
he wants to.
This is
like a dinner party at Mad Rogan's house. Like everybody gets the touching.
That is the dessert he serves. Okay.
See, Aaron, you should stick around.
I guess. I just feel like a massive dinner party with all of my girlfriends where he's gonna like psychically touch us all is like not my jam. But like if you guys want to do it, like I think that's great for you.
Maybe it's like 7 minutes in heaven with Mad Rogan.
Yeah, like me.
Like you're in a closet.
7 minutes in space.
Spin the bottle, maybe.
Anyway. Can I tell you a real shame though, everybody? I have the actual paperbacks and I was looking at them and, there's like a clinch on the cover and, he's got his dog tags and she's very beautiful. And then I was like, wait, what's the step back? And it's just destruction.
Come on.
It's just buildings falling down. And I feel really robbed.
It's a disappointment.
You're going to waste color ink on
That's
that?
a step back for like non-romance readers.
That's like a Jack Reacher. That's like a Jack Reacher step
It is.
back.
Wait, what is that? Was that Jack Reacher that just went by?
This is
That's
number
book
2.
The second book.
Also destruction on the inside.
What's the point of that?
I don't know.
Avon.
Point.
I'm gonna
Vibes.
ask.
Just setting the scene.
Blowing
I
up
guess.
vibes, fire vibes.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
It is sad.
Tells you what you're going to get into.
Like you're going to give them a step back and it's just going to be things blowing up.
I mean, I guess if your front cover is a clinch, though, what do you do in the step back?
they lay them down in front of the explosion. What do you want?
Like,
What do you want from me?
Less clothes
Honestly.
in the step back.
Honestly. But also, okay, so I
A
got really
chaise,
big
a chaise lounge.
a chaise and then a in the background.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
No, I got really big Dr. Manhattan vibes from him because of his like really, really blue eyes and the way
That
that he
is
like
really
levitates
clever,
up
yeah.
and all that. Sorry. I think the step back should be that scene where
Him
he's all
levitating. Yeah,
magic
absolutely.
and she's smooching
Yeah,
on him.
and there's
Hot.
the wind around them.
Oh, the wind. God,
That's
Sarah.
what I want. I want the two of them just banging in a wind tunnel.
I I should tell you about some of our future plans, Sarah, for another project. You just wait. Okay.
Banging in a wind tunnel? All right.
It is not that.
Okay, all right.
is it the CERN? Is it like the particle collider?
It's not that either. You
Oh,
listen,
okay.
I'll tell you off the podcast.
Okay.
Any
right.
final thoughts here? Anyone from anyone?
Thank you for introducing me.
I'm
to
really
this
happy I
series.
read this finally.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I
Same.
would have gotten around to it
same.
without this.
Well,
When Jen and I were talking about it, she did say this will force Sarah to finally read this book. So
And it did. And I'm
And
going to
it
read the
did.
rest of the series. So
Yeah.
book 2 is my favorite.
Oh,
I
I'm
can't
so
wait.
excited. I thought there were 6 for some reason.
So there are 6. The second
Oh.
trilogy is about her younger sister Catalina,
Oh, okay.
and she falls in love with Alessandro Segredo. So
Oh,
it's
hello.
essentially like a second series, like a second mini series,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And then we're all that book 6 actually comes out probably around when this is released. It's like
Cool.
August, the end of August.
Nice.
So that trilogy finishes, and I've read it, and they definitely tee up in an epilogue that the
More
youngest
things.
sister, Arabella, will probably get her series.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm excited because it's just, like more of this world, right? Like
Yeah.
more of these
Mhm.
people, more of Grandma Frida and her
I
tales.
do feel like when you build a world this elaborate, 3 books is not enough. Like
Right.
you've done a
Right.
lot of work as a writer, and
Mhm.
readers
Yeah.
have done a lot of work like imprinting the world, and now you have to
Yeah.
continue it.
But I really like that it's like, okay, but like, again, they're not trying to like rewrite Nevada and Connor. They're not trying to like
right.
write like that's done. We're just going to move on to the sisters, and then we get hints of them and we get a look
love
at
it.
them, and then we'll get Arabella and X or Y.
Yeah.
There's like a little hint that maybe she's gonna have a
Oh,
love triangle.
but we should
Oh.
tell listener, sorry everyone, that this book does end with him being like, pick a place in the world. I'll get a yacht and we'll go to it or whatever. And she's
Yeah.
like, no, absolutely not.
you're a
I'm not
sociopath."
dating you. Yeah. And I loved at the very,
Aaron's
very
like,
end.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but at the very,
You're a
very end,
sociopath.
I don't know if this like only hit me or if it's like a more universal thing, but when she said you're not capable of feeling other people's feelings, you're an empath, but you're only a magical empath.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
it does not translate emotionally, and that's a deal breaker for me essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited for him to learn how to feel, everybody.
I gotta say, it really doesn't as much. I'm on the record. I hate a like cliffhanger. I hate it, and
Sure.
then she leaves at the end of the first book. But
Love
this, it really doesn't feel like that here.
No.
And I think part of the
No,
reason
it
why it
doesn't.
doesn't feel that way is because this does feel like a romance, and it feels like I'm gonna read book 2 right away.
Yeah.
So it
most definitely
rolls.
Right.
Most definitely. I wasn't mad at the end of this because I was
No,
just like,
which is weird.
Nevada,
because
you dumbass.
Well, because it didn't feel like a breakup because she broke up with him. She was like, no, I'm not going to your yacht or whatever.
Right.
And he was like, okay. Like,
Yeah,
he didn't
right.
accept the breakup. It
No.
wasn't like he then walked away and was like, I've lost her, my love. You know, he was like, okay, Nevada, I'll see
Yeah.
you tomorrow.
Right.
You know?
They're obviously coming on the yacht.
Can't wait to bang. Bye.
On my
I
yacht
also
in my
think
wind tunnel.
And I also think like the main story, right? Like what's happening with Adam gets solved in a really satisfying way.
Mhm.
And we understand, like we just understand that the next book is coming. But I guess in the
Right.
original when these books were released, book 1 came out in 2014 and book 2 I think came out in 2015, or like there was a
Mhm.
big delay, and I think
Yeah.
people really waited around for number 3. And a lot of my friends were like, that was some real bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
because I don't
that
have
is
to live in
a
that
trick.
reality. That's
You
great.
guys know-
Trick, you gotta wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, be in her books. She
Mhm.
did not read any of Catalina's like
So we're all
trilogy
done.
until she could get Ruby Fever. She's like,
Smart.
I'm not falling for that. again. I'm
Listen,
just
that's
gonna
just
give myself
good
that.
sense.
That's self-care is what
Yeah.
that
It
is.
is self-care.
Yeah. Yeah. Know your
So-
limits, man.
But then look, she probably had a great weekend.
See?
Yeah.
I mean, when I read these all in one weekend, I literally had the best weekend. I loved
Yeah.
it so much.
Yeah.
I like this is one of those few reading experiences where you're like, this is how reading romance should feel.
Mm. Yeah. Ooh, faded bosoms.
Oh,
We're doing this, guys.
We're gonna read a book
Yeah.
about a waterbed sometime in the
Sometime
Yes.
we're gonna find it.
Challenge
Tweet at
accepted.
us.
Listen, Nora Roberts for sure wrote a waterbed.
Had to have. Had to have.
One of those love sweps hat for sure. had
Sandra
waterbeds.
Brown, somebody's banging on
Oh,
a
yeah.
waterbed. You're sloshing around.
Gotta be.
People like I just don't feel like sex on a waterbed is good, and I feel like
I
that's always
don't.
been known.
Yeah.
I don't understand the purpose
But
of the
then
waterbed.
so many people had waterbeds. Where do you bang? Like, are you just a
That's
not
true.
bed
Where
banger?
do you bang?
Do you get on the floor? Do you go to your couch? Are you just a
don't
not bed
know.
banger
I think
all
so.
the time? Forever?
Do people still have waterbeds? Listeners,
know.
fill us in on waterbeds.
Yeah, please.
Tell us
Like, is the
about
bed even an
waterbeds.
option? You know?
Mhm.
Is it a special occasion situation? I don't know.
I mean, it feels like it. I don't know. It feels difficult.
It
does.
really
Mhm.
does. Yeah.
Well, do waterbeds still exist is literally a question on the Google, right?
Where can I find a waterbed? Anywhere.
It says they can still be found today, mostly online.
Oh, I'm sure totally used.
Wow.
I bet they do not ship to
Oh.
Alaska. I'm just gonna put that out there. I don't think that you can find one here. I don't think we're
Because-
gonna get one.
I think it's
Yeah.
the wrong climate for it as well.
It would freeze.
It's nice bed at that point.
Yeah,
Just
right.
a nice bed.
No, that
Mhm.
doesn't sound nice.
What an odd thing.
For sure.
I'm now reading the Wikipedia page about waterbeds. Don't the National Institute of Child Health thinks they are very bad for children.
Oh,
they'll
yeah,
just
'cause you can get
asphyxiate in
stuck
there.
into-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, definitely.
It
Yeah,
says
Duncan would
another
never.
advantage of a waterbed is easy cleaning. That
False.
seems wrong.
I mean, you can wipe it down.
No,
That's
because
true.
dust mites can't live inside it.
Yeah, that makes
Oh.
sense.
So maybe it's an
Oh.
allergy
All
thing.
right.
Mhm.
Anyway, if you're out there and you have a waterbed, report in.
Please
Also,
tell
we
us
support
about
you.
your life. Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Friends, I gotta go. This is we have
Same.
fallen down the waterbed hole, and I don't
Same.
like it. I bet you know what though? I just thought of it. I bet there's waterbed TikTok.
it just occurred to me that my very favorite hero of anything, Special Agent Fox Mulder, had a waterbed.
Oh,
that's
that's
did he really?
right.
That just occurred to me.
So there's got to be waterbed romance.
Mhm.
Has to be.
Well,
my
there's
gosh.
definitely waterbed fanfic. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows this. I haven't yet listened to it. It's like I downloaded a bunch of episodes, but there is a podcast called something to the effect of Fox Mulder is a Maniac. And I think it might be an X-Files rewatch, like from the perspective of him just
yeah.
being an absolute
Well, where's the waterbed episode? We need
Yeah,
to find
right.
it.
on
we
it.
need-
Yes. It's great.
Sure, there were the people that lived in the sewers. There were like the inbred family, and then there was like the waterbed episode, of course.
Right. Dreamland.
Listen, everybody should tell everybody where they can be found. So I'll go first. We can be found at fatedmates.net on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm. Heaving Bosoms can be found on heavingbosoms.com. And then we're pretty much everywhere at Heaving Bosoms. And yeah. And Twitter's
And
at
then
heaving_bosoms.
Melody, tell everybody about Bonkers Romance too.
Oh, yeah. And my other podcast, Bonkers Romance, bonkersromance.com. And I think we're mostly on Instagram and TikTok, but that's at Bonkers Romance. And Heaving Bosoms publishes on Mondays, and you can get Bonkers on Thursdays. So,
and I'm just a lady in the world. My name is Erin. My Twitter is
I put criminals in chains.
You're not just a lady. You're pretty badass.
You can find me in my house in Alaska. I am at This One Is Erin on Twitter.
Yeah.
A listener, Erin.
I'm a listener of the Fated Mates podcast.
Erin and I, listen, Erin, you know what? I'm feeling ice skating this summer.
Let's do it.
Wait, are you from Chicago? Oh, you're going to read an ice skating book.
But Erin, I am from Peoria area. So like I am an Illinoisan.
Cool.